That's my, you know, you don't meditate, you medicate, you know, it's your choice, right? You know, it's up to you, right? But we have deeper issues inside of us. We have different conflicts that exist within us. Some anger sometimes, childhood differences, other processes, other resentments that build within us. Right? I've been in the Punjabi community now close to 50 years. I know it's the most emotional people I've ever met my whole life. You know, I got the scars in the back. You know, for a white kid to survive Punjabi community 50 years is, you know, not an easy task. You know, I had a business. I was printing business 30 years, and it funded the Dharma Fund. We gave all the money to support me. I was on television 18 years in Canada, spreading these teachings. Well, one day the big Gurdwara in Ontario there, also Dovar, and I have a printing company, and they came to print their calendar. And they came to me and they said, okay, give us a price, 20,000 calendars, give us a price, 15,000 calendars. Right? So you know if you buy 20, you get a little better price than if you buy 15,000. So they looked at me, they said, okay, gee, we want to order 15,000 calendars, but we want to pay the 20,000 calendar price. You know, so I had to think use my intuitive mind quick. So how am I going to get around this? I'm not going to get that price so I looked at them, I said, you see this 30? They say, I don't trim that. You see this price? I don't trim that. They signed the check, I walked out. So I had to learn to speak Punjabi mentally, right? Matching. Intuitive mind had to come in, because if I said, well, I'm not doing that, if you pay it, then they would have said, well, we're not going to pay it, you know. So I had to think right in that moment, what did I do intuitively to get into this situation? Because I want what I want. And you know, from that day, they always respected me. Did a lot of business with all the good wives. They always respected me because, hey, he's no nonsense. And he gets the job done. So we have to apply ourselves in certain situations, not react to it. I could have reacted and say, well, you know, you're trying to cheat me out, you know, that, what of that, right? We would have been disaster. So what is that karma? Karma. Right? Dharma and karma. Right? Karma, what's karma? In English we say motion to commotion, commotion to drama, drama to trauma, trauma to disaster. That's a cycle of karma. And if we live in that path, so I'm saying that, you know, we're very emotional people. But how do we deal with those emotions? What's an emotion really? Emotion, we say, is a ego in motion. Whenever you get into emotion, it's always your ego that's in motion, and that creates the karma. Because when the ego goes into the motion of something, you lose sight of what is in your heart, in your soul. You react in the situation, you create a karmic situation that creates a number of other situations. You get stuck in it, and then the whole thing becomes a mess. So we have family breakdowns, we have children breakdowns, we have personal breakdowns, and we don't resolve the issues. And ultimately, we just end up with tissues. Poor me. Poor little old me. I'm just a victim of everybody. Yeah. I mean, I'm joking a little bit today, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah. I have a simple philosophy of life. Don't be depressed in life, be impressed. Don't be frustrated, become first-rated. A simple tool. And the power of that is our devotion. So we have all these emotions. What do we do with them? We take all those emotions, we take them into devotion. Take all your emotions to devotion. And what is devotion? Devotion is a divine ocean. Life is a divine ocean. Sukh Sagar, it's a peaceful way of, the Sagar means the ocean, Sukh means a peaceful ocean, Sukh Sagar. So be open to that. See the divine ocean of life, not just what you're getting caught into. You have to get above it and not get stuck into it. And we have to get out of it. But what is a simple philosophy of that? You know, you call those holes in the road potholes? You call those here potholes? So if the car goes into a pothole, it goes in, but what happens? It comes out. Doesn't it always? You get a little bumpy, but it comes out. So the same thing I say, feel it. If you're going through something, feel it. We're not robots that we don't feel things. No. Feel it. Understand it within you. But then get out of it. Don't get stuck in it. That's the problem this mind has. When we become a slave to this mind, it becomes compulsive. That means it repeats, it repeats, it repeats, it repeats, it repeats. And we become compulsive in our capacity, we become compulsive in our work. We become so compulsive that we lose sight of our tomorrow. And when you lose sight of the tomorrow, what do you bring into your tomorrow if you lose sight of your tomorrow? You'll always bring sorrow. We don't want to bring sorrow into that tomorrow. But we have to then, how do we stop that cycle of the mind? Because we're in this Western world, our behavioral patterns are addictive to us. We call those the habits. Those patterns become addictive. Our eating patterns, our breathing patterns, our sleeping patterns, our speaking patterns, all of that becomes addictive to us. So we repeat them. Addictive, repeated cycles. Because we become addicted to that. And that becomes the habit. But then the neurosis of the mind becomes so strong that we become habitual to our habits. And so on top of that we have habits, then we become habitual to those habits. And we build on those habits until you got a whole string of habits and you don't know what was the first habit I wanted to deal with in the first place. We get lost in it. That's the duality of the mind. Read Sri Guru Granth Sahib Maharaj talks more about duality of mind, doesn't it? That whenever you're in a duality of the mind, that duality of the mind, you're never going to get anywhere in life. Your life will just be a doing. So these are some of the simple technology I'm teaching to you today, I'm sharing with you today. But we have to find, I've said all of the things that are wrong, now what's right? Don't look at what's wrong with you, see what's right in you. Did you wake up this morning, look in that mirror, you say, oh my God, you created such a beautiful soul. What a great honor it is to live, to be, that's my heart. No, you look, I don't like my eyebrows, there's a little pinch here, you might know a little bit like this, the ears are going like the turban's a little bit this way, that way, I had a bad turban day today, right? Whatever it is, right? But you don't see when you look at yourself and exalt yourself, Guruji, thank you so much for bringing me, God, thank you so much for giving me this breath of life, that I may feel a little bit today, some calmness, some easiness, that something may flow through me today by your grace and by your blessing, by your kippa, by your love and love of the heart. 4 pillars to stand on: know yourself, love yourself, trust yourself, and be yourself. If something doesn't answer to that, walk away. Someone asked me one day, they said, how do you know what you shouldn't do? I said, I bring it here. And when I bring it here to the Ajna, Agya Chakra, command center, when I bring it to that chakra, that Agya Chakra, that third eye point, which opens to the screen of your consciousness, opens to your screen of awareness, balances at the pituitary gland, which is your master gland, and our glandular system is the guardians of our health. And I say, if it doesn't expand itself, it's not for me. If I bring it here and it expands and it's okay, then that'll follow. I trust it. So I have to trust in myself. And when my Guru says to me, this is how to do it, this is the way, trust that truth shall be. I have to love myself. If I don't love myself, how can I love you? How can we love another person? Oh, I love you, exchange a little bit of saliva. I love you. What do you get from it? Disappointment. So if I'm not loving myself, if I'm not feeling that I'm happy, I'm loving, I'm looking after, I'm taking care of myself, I love myself, how can we love? We love our children. I look at my child, oh my God, what a blessing. But do I feel that same way about myself? And I have to know myself. Okay, understand. You got to know yourself well enough to know what is right from wrong, what is that you should go on that path. Well, I have to know that within myself. Because when we start on this path, we say, I believe I know. We're not quite sure. I believe that I know. But then that shift has to come where you say, I know I believe. Doubt is like nuclear fusion, it expands. And there's never one doubt. When there's one doubt, there's the next doubt, the next doubt, the next doubt, the next doubt. Keeps on moving on. So I have to know within myself, that's that I am, I am, I am. Sometimes you do that meditation. I am, I am, I am, I am within myself, I am. And be you. I can't be you. I have to be myself. I can't be you. I can feel you, understand you, learn from you. But I have to be me ultimately, right? I have to be me. If I'm not me, then who am I? We say Satnam, Satnam, Vaheguru, Satnam, Satnam, Vaheguru, Satnam, Sat. Where is that me within the Sat, which is the Nam, which is Vai, which is the essence of everything of the Guru that transforms me? Satnam, Vaheguru. It's a transformational mantra. When it's felt inside, woman came up one day, she said, "My Sabji, when I read Pad, I don't feel it, I don't feel it." I said, "Well, show me, pick up the good guess, show me how you read your..." I'm laughing, my tears were coming. I said, slow down, breathe a little bit, connect yourself. And say, Kunkar, Satanam, Kartapur, Nirbo, Nirve, Komur, Tajuni. Take the time, listen to that sound, let it vibrate within. I just want to get it. The kids got to have breakfast, and the kids I got to in school, and I got to be at work. And I said, oh my guys, may God bless you. It's too much for me. Take the time, be it. Somebody said, well, my mind is wandering a million directions when I'm reading Pad or I'm doing meditation. I said, let the mind wander. Because that wandering mind will become the wondering mind. Let it happen. You have to exhaust. Brain is like exhaust. You have a car, that's its electric, but you have a car and it's got that exhaust, right? These ears, exhaust has to come out of that brain. Brain has to relax, right? If those millions and millions and millions of thoughts that come through you, in Japji Saipad, after Mulmantar, Guru Nanak Dev Ji talks about the mind first. First 40 Japji Saipad. Socha Socha Nahovi, just Sochi Lokavar. There's 1,000 thoughts that come, but not one belongs to you. So why attach yourself to it? So in English, what is being said? You think, but you don't think, but you think, but you don't think, but you think, but you don't think, but you don't think, but you think, but you don't. Right. So it just becomes a treadmill of thinking. Until mind becomes so filled with thought, they say, why do you do sadhana? Why do you do that practice? I said, because every day, if you take a board or your iPad, whatever you work on, and you write down everything you did today, and you write down everything you did yesterday, and you write down everything you did the next day, and everything you did the next day, is there going to be any room left on that board? There won't be a room to write anything. So when we wake up in the morning, do Pad, do some Simran, do some meditation, do something, you clear that board slate clean, so that now your day is flowing. Otherwise it becomes so build up, that you no longer have any space in your mind, and you can't sleep at night, and you can't, right? No energies. So I'm saying we have to learn how do we reverse those cycles within ourselves. That's the knowing and the trusting and the being, the loving. Right? And we have the tools to do it. That's the power of the meditative mind. I don't teach meditation. I stopped teaching meditation a long time ago. What I teach is how to have a meditative mind. Mind has to be meditative in every aspect of everything that you do. Mind has to be meditative. That's why when you do Simran, you do Pad, doesn't it stay with you all day? Right? You're in the lineup at the bank, but you're going, right? It embeds itself within the consciousness. So that no matter where you are 24/7, that's the concept of Nam Simran, Nam Japo. That Nam Japo means the repetition of the Nam, the sound current. Life is a sound vibration. Everything in life is a vibration. auric field that we have is a vibration. When we rub our hands together sometimes, if you rub your hands like this together, rub. Just rub, rub, rub. Keep rubbing. Rub, rub, rub. Rub. He doesn't do it. Oh, this is an old man talking. What does he know about anything? Rub, rub. It's such a joy. And now move your hands. If I close your eyes, feel what is that between your palms?